Hello and welcome to another episode of Farming Simulator 25 on Riverbend Springs with me, Daddy Jokey. And today we finally get to do some selling of the stuff that we've been producing on our farm. So first thing we're going to do today is go ahead, drive on to our foil house, and we're gonna load up our produce. So we have a pallet of lettuce, tomatoes, and garlic. That is a lot of garlic. Oh my lord. But anyway, so to do that, I'm gonna go ahead and grab my new front loader attachment for the tractor that I got last episode or the one before that, and I'll be right back over there to load up pretty much everything that we've produced so far. So honey, some eggs, tomatoes, garlic, lettuce, and we're gonna use a mod to actually check the prices and the values of all of these commodities that we've produced. This is where I parked that. Now, where did I park the tractor? That is a good question. I think it's right over here somewhere. Is it this one? Yes. Okay. So here we go. Drive on to the other side. Now, I don't know, I'm hoping that this is going to be the case, that our greenhouse is actually going to stop producing come late fall, early winter. I really hope that it isn't just like productive throughout the entire year, especially because we don't actually have a proper greenhouse. We just have a full tunnel in which I don't think we'd ever be able to keep the temperature up to a reasonable level to actually grow anything over winter. There are some ways that you can keep a greenhouse warm all year round, warm enough to grow stuff, grow even tropical stuff, but foil tunnel is definitely not it. Now, in order to do this, I'm going to switch to the third-person view because it is much easier to navigate the pallet fork that way. And so I'm gonna first check what I need to pick up. I want to drive stuff to the restaurant, and it looks like the restaurant is taking tomatoes and lettuce. So actually, I need the other two before I need that one. And I really need to shore up some of these bushes and maybe make like a little gravel road over here on which to drive with my truck and the front loader and stuff. So here we go, our tomatoes. Oof. Are they too heavy? Do I need a weight? Nah, we should be fine. If we start tipping over carrying a few boxes of tomatoes, I don't know. That would be a little bit ridiculous, I think. But I do hope that it fits past the wheel wells of the pickup truck. Okay, well, that wasn't good. Let's try again. There, ooh, I crashed into my thing. This should be good enough. You just slide it out and then you give it a poke. Like that. Bam. Whoop, not bam. Oh, come on. There we go. Now we drive up to here. Crashing into our pickup truck again. Oh my. Really just excellent driving skills today. I think I'm gonna blame the tractor. I'm gonna say it's the manual power shift transmission that's causing me to crash into things. Yeah, so that's what we're gonna blame for my poor driving. There, and as ever, the pallet loading is janky and just dissatisfying. Should probably slow down a little bit so we don't fling our valuable lettuces down the hill. There we go. Lower that to the other section. Okay, well, it's not ideal, but it is what it is. And then we're gonna slam that shut, leash up the boxes. Good enough, I guess. And then we're gonna go ahead and drive the tractor out from right there by the edge of the road. Just park it right here for a minute. And we're gonna go ahead and find out where the restaurant is. So I'm gonna tag the place. It's 1.2 kilometers that way. Let's check out the map and see where that is exactly and what the best way to get there is. So the restaurant is over here by on the river, I guess. So it's just gonna be as simple as going across town and down this road. I'm interested to see that restaurant because I have not been there yet, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of the world. Turn on the lights is what I wanted to do, and I haven't really seen the map all that much. I saw a little bit driving the wood around for Noah, and but I haven't been to that particular corner, so I'm excited. So let's go and drive over there. I would suggest a time lapse, but I don't plan on doing a long episode today. It's just gonna be selling a few things, and so I don't think we're gonna do any time lapses today. Hopefully, we'll see how that goes. Fingers crossed. But yes, in case you didn't watch my previous episode, I came up with a new, I guess, scheme how to maximize our acreage's output, and that is we're gonna grow barley, which is planted in the fall and grows up in July, and then in July we're going to plant carrots, which end up growing up at the end of November. Now, if I had realized this and I had timed this right, we could have repeated the same thing next year, but it is what it is. It's the first time for everyone. So that's what I'm gonna do. That's my scheme, and I do realize it's going to take a lot more work because we're gonna have to till the land twice and get it ready for the carrots and take straw bales off quickly. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. If you want to make money, you're gonna have to put in the work. So that's what we're doing. So yeah, here we go. The volumetric fog is looking pretty interesting down there. I think the fog is the reason why the game is looking a little bit bleached at times, because it is settling in places, like you can see right here. It is settling in the distance as well, which is contributing to the kind of white hazy look. But it looks pretty sweet up close. So here we go, and this is the dirt road down to the restaurant. Willie's Restaurant both. Okay. I mean, I don't know that I would ever turn off a main road to head down a dirt road to Willie's Riverboat Restaurant. So, but yeah. Nice pun otherwise though. In case you're not sure about the pun, Steamboat Willie, the first incarnation of Mickey Mouse. Now this is interesting. My if I put on cruise control while driving down this dirt track, it doesn't exceed 25 miles per hour. I wonder if there's like an automatic speed limiter on it while driving on different roads. That would be kind of new. Ooh, and I forgot to speed up time to back to 5. Okay, so I'm gonna quickly speed up time to 360. Make time elapse a few minutes. There we go. And then we just go to our regular 5. And now we're gonna drive into the sale point, and we sold products worth $2,600. So I think that's decent. I mean, yeah, I think we did okay. $2,600. Next up, we're gonna load up. What are we gonna load up next? We have garlic and we have eggs. But those sell, and honey as well. But those sell at our own little farmer stand, so we're just gonna shuffle those using the tractor. We're not actually gonna drive anywhere. But yeah, if you look at this, I'm putting on the speed limiter now, or cruise control, and we're driving 25, despite the fact that it's set to 40, which you can see right underneath everything on the speedometer dial. And then, as I hit the main road, you'll see that it speeds up to 40, or at least I thought it did, because otherwise something is horrendously broken. So we're gonna go ahead and turn left, basically return home, same way we came here. Oh, no, still stuck at 25. Weird. Okay. Well, just as well, I'll be honest, the speed above 30 feels a little bit janky in farming simulator games. The engine doesn't, I don't know, the turning, especially with mouse and keyboard, I don't know. It is definitely not a racing game, that's for sure. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead. I've yet to see the train up close really, I think. It seems every time I drive by the tracks, the train has just passed. Or I catch a glimpse through it, of it through like a small cut in between the gate of the farm that is headed over that way. Over here to our left, this is the animal dealer where I have already stopped by to talk to Katie about about animals, how to keep animals best. And I do want to put some animals on the farm. And my thought was goats. 2 reasons. 1, you get milk off of goats. And 2, it is a new animal in this game. And it would be exciting to see the little baby goats, the kids. They're so cute and adorable. But as of yet, I don't have any money to put that down. As well as we don't have a hay field, so I have nothing to feed them. So I'm thinking I'm gonna prepare the enclosure or what's the word that's not zoo related, the pen, I guess. I like the word enclosure better. Let's use enclosure. I'm gonna prepare the enclosure over winter, and I'm thinking I'm gonna place it right over here next to the truck on my left. So in this area right here, I'm gonna cut some of these trees and place the building itself over here, and then stretch out their pasture, I guess you can say, around this whole thing. And I am hoping that it doesn't take down the trees when we opt in for a meadow, because I think it would be kind of a, you know, nice and interesting pasture, I guess you could, yeah, pasture for the goats, rather than just like an empty grassy lot. It will give them some cover from elements that isn't like indoors. And yeah, I think it's gonna be nice. So next, I'm just gonna skip the running. I'm gonna tab over. Like I said, this is not a survival. I'm gonna try to play realistic as I can, but this is just kind of a getting used to the game kind of series, and so I'm not too bothered by just tabbing over. If I was, there's already, I think, a mod, which is, I can't remember what it's called. I think it's called Parked Vehicles, and I can't remember the author. I want to say Whoopster, maybe, but don't quote me on that, and if it's somebody else, I apologize. But it is essentially a mod that allows you to disable vehicles from tabbing over. So you can select the vehicle specifically that you don't want to tab into. That way you can play even more realistically, just so that you kind of hamstring yourself and force it so that you do have to walk. So here we go. The next sell point that we're dropping our garlic is just right here. I do hope that it appears in the... I do hope it appears inside these inside all these bins and boxes over here, but it does not appear to be the case. So we sold, I mean, yeah, we didn't really, we just put 1,000 liters of garlic into our farm stand, and we'd still have to do all the selling. I do like that little sell point, but I do wish it was a little bit different, I guess. A little more realistic, little more like we put the stuff there, and then over time it gets taken out of there and we get money for it. Although I do understand why that would be somewhat annoying to a lot of players. Then again, you're always welcome to just not use that particular sell point. So, checking on honey. Honey, we'll sell honey at the kiosk as well. Now this, I mean, we realistically, we only have, what is that, 12 jars of honey. I'm gonna pick it up a little bit sketch-like, and then either fix it or just not worry about it. But realistically, our 12 jars of honey would probably fly off the shelves. I have known people who would drive miles and miles specifically to buy a honey, or buy a honey jar or several from a specific producer that they enjoy the honey from, both because of pricing and because of quality and taste. And so I have no 200, what? It was supposed to make us a lot more, shouldn't it? Oh no, the value over here is how much we're actually getting. This is the price that we're selling it for. Gotcha. Okay, well, let's go grab the eggs, sell $200 worth of eggs. That'll keep the farm running. It's the farm economics, right? What do they call it? Bread, butter, and eggs economics of the farm. Essentially meaning, what are the things that you know people will always buy because they need them and want them? And that is, you know, these kind of basic ingredients that everybody uses in their lives all the time. So eggs, butter, apparently garlic in our case, but yeah, bread, I guess less so on a farm, right? We would need a baker, which we could get because we have a mod that allows us to lease the production facilities instead of spending the ridiculous money to buy them, right? We can essentially, it imitates the ability to buy a production run from a production facility. So you know, that's one of those mods that I've been definitely waiting for before I started using anything. We could always buy for like 36,000 the production facilities that are kind of like your, you know, if you've watched Clarkson's farm when he you know, does potato chips and stuff. A little bit lower. You could do that, right? You could buy that like container, self-contained unit, and we're gonna do that, I think, for lumber, because you would definitely, you know, that's not even really that far-fetched that a farm, even of this size, would have a small mill, because you need to repair, I mean, you need to repair things constantly, right? Like, you would need to repair this, this barn, and I think if you were just buying wood, it would just cost a lot of money. So that's all that's sold. What else have we got? We've got straw that we could sell and get almost $3,600 for that. And what else? We have canola and we have wheat. And so over here it tells us the maximum, which month of the year the maximum amount of money will be gained from it. So we can, I guess that was a very convoluted way of saying that. Basically, right over here is our canola. Let's go through the mod real quick. Stock tells us how much we have in our possession. Right, we have almost 5,500 liters. Over here is the current price, and it's trending. It is currently trending down. This is the total value of our stock. So currently, if we sold it at oil mill, we would get $6,861. Max price known to the game on this difficulty for canola is 1,313 per 1,000 liters, meaning the max value of our stock is 7,215. So as you can see, even waiting until December won't really increase our income all that much. Furthermore, we don't have to sell our canola. We can rent the production building, which is the oil mill. We can run the canola and get canola oil. Now, if we go to the actual commodities, canola oil sells for a ton more. It sells for 3,200 per 1,000 liters, I think. I'm actually not sure, but in the interest of finding out, I am going to load up my trailer with canola. We're gonna rent the oil mill, and we're going to run a production of canola oil, because what else would you do with canola anyway? So we're gonna hop in back into the tractor, and as you can see, I didn't plan that because I parked the tractor all neat-like. We're gonna go grab our little trailer, and then I'm just hoping that I don't forget to actually rent the production facility before I dunk all of our loads in there. Or I'm hoping it's gonna be one load, but we'll see. This should contain 5,000 liters. But you never know. Clip in. Again, I am excited for the time that manual attach mod becomes a reality for this game. It is a mod that I basically always play with. Always, 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 always. Never have I played a farming simulator game without it, ever since that mod came out. Okay, so here we go. I think I'm above it. Hit R, barley, oat, cannoli. Load me up, Bob. Good. Okay, we still had some room. Alright, so next, let's tag. Where is it? Here. Go to... Shoot, now it disappeared because I loaded it into the trailer. Of course it did. So let's tag the oil mill. 1,700 meters that way. Which way is that? All the way down here. Okay. So for the first time, we're gonna drive down all the way to here. We've seen this area over here. This field right here is where I expertly chopped some logs and dropped the entire machine down the hill. Alternatively, we could drive this way and actually experience this entire sector of the map. I think that's what I'm gonna do. So let's go. And we're not gonna time-lapse this either, because I think it's gonna be exciting to see. For people who don't have the game, or for people who decided to play their game on the Asian map, or for some reason on Sri Lanka. Here we go. That way. Sri Lanka is a map I was not a huge fan of in the previous farming simulator, and so I didn't even bother starting it up because it... how would I put this best? Okay. If that map is supposed to be sort of a central / central eastern Europe, that is not what that looks like. Central and Eastern Europe these days does not look like that. Even the villages don't look like that. So unless that map was supposed to be some deep, like Russia somewhere, which I don't think was the intention of if it was supposed to be, you know, Poland or whatever, you don't have these wooden painted villages anymore, at least not standard, right? Everybody wants to live comfortably and in modern, you know, buildings, and so modern European practices, even as far east as basically Ukraine, involve, you know, thermal insulation of your houses, so that you don't spend a ton of money on heating and cooling your house. And so all the houses have been redone from the outside. They have stucco, they have, you know, solar panel roofs. It is a modern world out there. It does not look like what it looks like. And in that same vein, if the map was supposed to convey, you know, Eastern Europe or Central/Eastern Europe, you know, 20-30 years ago, even 20-30 years ago, it doesn't do well, because then there are the bits that are too modern to pass muster, and so it just didn't sit well with me. It wasn't good enough in what it was trying to portray, unlike, I think, this map. Now, maybe if you're from Indiana, you can dispute that, but to be honest, this map looks gorgeous. It looks like just there where we were driving over that bump, the road just opens and the valley behind opens in front of you, and that was pretty. I enjoy that. I enjoy maps that are visually exciting, where there is stuff to see, even if it's not something that you care to stop by, right? Even if it's not like this here. This is not important. This doesn't matter to your farming experience, right? If all you're after is driving a tractor and a trailer, or, you know, combine on a big field, then this doesn't matter. But this just adds life to the map, and so that is something that I'm always after. I enjoy the feeling of like reality of seeing, experiencing the place. This is why I often play on British maps created by my favorite creators, such as Oxygen David, or you know, in the past Bullet Bill, where the maps have been created with such attention to detail that it felt like, for me who has never been in English or British countrysides, it just felt like I knew what that looked like. Like, if I'm talking to a British person who lives out in the country or drives out through the country, I can talk to them as if I have been there, because the maps are so faithfully created that it is not too far-fetched to actually say, like, oh yeah, I know what the British, you know, but the British lanes look like, where only one car can pass and there's passing spots and all of that. Like, I know what that looks like. I play Farming Simulator, right? Because the maps are so well done, and this map is so far like doing that for me. Oh, it's right on the edge over here. So let's not forget to rent the facility. So the way this mod works, and I have made a video about it, I just haven't posted it as of the time of recording this video. The way you rent the stuff is you find the trigger, which is hiding over here against the white wall, and you hit R, just the same as you would, and then instead of buy, you select lease. You hit OK, and you will pay $657 a day. So essentially, for $600, the storing, selling, distributing. I'm not entirely sure what that means. Let's do storing, just so we don't screw anything up. And we're gonna dump our 5,000 liters of canola. But essentially we're paying this oil mill $600 some so that they can produce canola oil out of our canola. And when they're done with it, we're gonna come and pick it up with our pickup truck. So dump in the canola. And as we can see, this should start to increase any minute now. There we go, it's starting to pop up. There we go, that's all of the canola in. And so now we just activate and it's running, and it'll create 480 cycles per month, cost $60 per month. So essentially it's like we paid them 600 to set up the production, you know, like we can role-play this and say like we paid them the setup costs and the just the fact that we're using their mill, right? And then the production itself is going to cost us, so basically, you know, they're taking a cut of what we're going to sell it for. Don't love the flickering, I hope that gets sorted out. I will look on Tuesday for new NVIDIA drivers, see if there is a new one that is game ready for Farming Simulator and sorts out some of this this visual just flickering and just nuisance. And over here is the old grain elevator, which I think we can restore and turn into a museum or something along those lines. But yeah, here we go. This is cute. It's a nice little fence around this farm. I like this. This is very, yeah, like this screams America to me. And again, I haven't been in Indiana, and the further west you go, the more different it looks. But you know, this is what I imagine. This is what I kind of even see sometimes around here in Colorado. Okay, so turning across here, and this is a familiar space on this intersection. We've done a lot of going back and forth with the wood for Noah. So we're just gonna drive through here on the way home, and I want to know how I can get the oil out of the cell point, because essentially what I want to know is, have we made a mistake or are we going to turn profit? If we had waited till I think it was December, we would have gotten 7,200. You can rewind the video and then hit it in the comments. I think it was 7,200, give or take a few dollars, at its maximum price. Right, at its current price, we would have gotten like $6,900 or $6,800. So I want to make sure that we make more than that, right? Because we had to rent the stuff. We're paying per production run, so there is some costs to turning canola into canola oil. But you know, other than just paying for the labor of us driving it there, I'm hoping that we're gonna get more money than if we had just sold the canola at its maximum price. Yeah, so we'll see. I don't know how long it'll take. Once I finish driving, I'll check and see maybe what's changed on the production screen, and we'll see if that informs how long it'll take. And then I'm hopeful that we can just spawn the whole thing instead of losing some stuff because it can't spawn because there's only so much there, right? Like if it only, for instance, if it only could spawn pallets of 1,000 liters worth of oil, and all we produced was, you know, 980 liters of oil, then I'm hoping that we don't lose all of that. That would really annoy me. But yeah, so here we are back at the farm. I'm gonna take this exit because why not? This farm has so many entrances, it's kind of ridiculous actually. The other thing that I find kind of peculiar is that there are no closable gates. That farm that I was talking about just before, on that side, on the other side of the map, had what looked like closable fence gates, but apparently Walter is just like, yeah, come on, visit my farm, steal my trailer. I do realize that the shed the trailer is in does close, but I don't know, it just seems tempting fate. Okay, here we go. I can drive that forward. You know what? I'm actually gonna park the tractor right here on this side of the shed or barn. That way they're right next to each other. There's no question where it is. There. Good. Come on out. Close the door. Close the door. There. bam, shut that. Let's go to the other side and close that. I was thinking in the future that I would like to place one of those little production things right over here. It actually neatly fits in there. And when you turn off collisions, or not collisions, but the what's the word? Like when you tell the game that you don't care that there is some errors happening, it actually works pretty well. And so for instance, I can take an oil mill and I can put a little oil mill right there, which I thought would be kind of cute, right? And for a small scale production like what we do, this might actually work because we don't have that much stuff going on that we would need a lot of, you know, like I said, without the lease mod, it would never pay off for us to buy, not in a million years, an oil production building like that. Like, why would we ever, right? But, so, let's check out how it's doing. It's got 5% materials, it is running, so it'll just take time to produce. Now, the way to get rid of the building, since we're already here, I'll show you, in case you haven't watched the video, which I hope to release along with this one later today. The way that you, like you've seen me rent the building, the way you get rid of it is essentially the same as selling it. You click on it, and a little menu pops up, and instead of sell, I think the button says return. So, you know, it's very, very, very intuitive and very obvious. But here we are, this is the end of October. So again, to recap, we have planted barley all over these 3 fields. We have canola all the way here because canola is my favorite kind of, not fruit, I guess, crop. There we go. We have planted barley over here. Barley will grow and it will be ripe in the middle of July. It should be anyway. And then we'll harvest barley. We already have the machine for that, so we don't need anything special. And then we'll go and plant carrots at the end of July. They should ripen by end of November. And we'll see in terms of machines what we can do to kind of get that rolling. I'm hoping that we'll be able to get some discounted machines over here in the store, right? Something like, oh my, that is tempting. 13,000 for a bale wrapper. Ooh. Whoa, that's not good. I might have to buy that. Although, in saying that, I don't have any grass to bale. So, it's kind of a silly purchase to do right now. But yes, this is the kind of stuff I'm talking about, right? Like stuff that if you go to the menu and we go to balers, where be the balers be? Round balers, right there. Right, like balers are expensive. It is 60,000 to buy a brand new baler, right? But if this comes on sale, that's 30,000. That's much more agreeable. It's still a lot of money for us, but you know, so in the same vein, this is what, $27,000 machine. We can get it for 13.5. That's a steal. So I'm on the lookout for the stuff that we need to grow carrots. Specifically, this thing, the Grim GF400 or Grimmy, no idea, right? So this thing creates ridges. This is just a visual thing, but it does add a stage of fertilization to your fields. Now, in reality, making ridges does not create a stage of fertilization, but I think if they had just added this to the game and said, this is just visual, no one would ever do it, because why would you? Furthermore, we can hook this up with a 3-point linkage, to which we can then hook up the Mini Air Nova Rigid, I think. I don't actually know if we could. Does it have a PTO through? We might not be able to because it doesn't have a PTO link, but does it turn around then? Anyway, this comes on sale. It'll cost about 6,000, right? If it goes 50%, it'll cost 6,000. So we'll be able to buy this and we'll be able to have a vegetable planter. And we can do carrots. We can do, what is that, parsnips, red beet, and we can do spinach. So this will enable us in long term to just do, and without having to rent stuff. If we can't find it, leasing these things won't be the end of the world, but it does cut into our profits long term. Only problem with vegetables that I foresee is the harvesting machines. So if we go over here and in the store look at vegetable harvesters, except for this one, which we are nowhere near being able to even lease. Like, look at, you don't have enough money. I can't even see the price of leasing this because it is so expensive to lease. Yeah. So that should tell you something, right? The other ones are fine, but they're working with is 0.8 meters. That means this is definitely a thing that we're going to give a worker, because I do not have the patience or the ability to drive this on a field for days on end in real time. It's just not going to happen, right? Like, this is a single row harvester that is just insane. Like, yeah. I mean, so that's the only kind of drawback of doing vegetables. Even this big one still only has a single row harvester, right? If you go over here, 0.8 meters. And so, you know, none of this is particularly appealing as a prospect. But it is what it is. That's what we're going to do. So we're going to keep an eye on sales, and we're going to keep on producing our veg. I do have to refill water into the greenhouses because it is running low. But if the greenhouses, where is the production? If the greenhouses don't automatically stop producing during the winter, I will turn them off, because that just seems right. Like, I don't think honey or any of this other stuff should be produced over winter. And as you can see, we already have some canola oil in stock. We have 68 liters of canola oil being produced, and restaurant will buy that for a good amount of money. And if we somehow manage to produce all of it by December, we'll even hit the best month to sell it. So I'm excited for that. I will quickly run over to the little kiosk, and that's going to be the last thing as I'm doing the outro. I want to run over there to see if our little kiosk has changed visually now that stuff is selling out of it, or if it still just looks like bare empty crates. So unfortunately it's still bare and empty crates. I am disappointed in that, but it is what it is. It's just a small detail. Maybe a modder will fix it later. But anyway, yeah, so thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. Yeah, it was sort of a slow burn, sort of planning episode. Not much happening other than us selling a lot of stuff. But hopefully you've come here and enjoyed this. If you've enjoyed this, it would be a pleasure if you'd subscribe and come back for another video later. Or even just binge it. Bye.